Well, what is up, people? Welcome to another fresh take. T, how you doing, man?
Hey there, Fruits. What's up?
Now, this one we promised to do a review for Spider-Man: Homecoming. I know we 4 months too late, but in the spirit of all things, Marvel Infinity War, we decided we go on and give a little review of Spider-Man: Homecoming. It makes a great stocking stuffer alongside Wonder Woman. So
True. Somehow we let this slip. I don't know how that happened, but
yeah, I have no idea how, but you know, um, we're going to talk Spider-Man: Homecoming, and this is the Spider-Man that we met in Civil War. And I have to say, I love the intro to this movie where they're showing the background of what happened before he showed up.
The setup was great. I love the setup.
Yeah, the setup was awesome with Happy basically having to be his chaperone in the hotel. And he's like amped up because he's 15, 16 or whatever. And you get to see what happened after the battle at the airport when he's back at the hotel.
Yeah.
Where he's still all that adrenaline still going.
He's taking selfie footage and shit.
Yeah. He is just off the chain. I mean, I think the thing that I like the most about this film was the fact that Spider-Man wasn't. He felt like he actually liked being Spider-Man. He actually felt like he enjoyed it. He was having fun. You know, he wasn't bogged down by problems. Yeah, he was like, dude, I'm a hero. I can't wait to go on our next retreat or whatever.
I mean, he had problems, but they weren't like overbearing, you know.
Yeah, it didn't, and it wasn't overbearing in the plot either. Which, thank God they did that. And your boy Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr., he's in this movie, but he's not in it as much as you think.
He's in it just enough, and he adds to it for sure. Because I was worried beforehand. I was like, oh no, they're not gonna like push Tony Stark's out there just to to get some people to watch the movie, just because the kid was mostly unknown. He's mostly unknown.
Yeah.
Like, even though he's Spider-Man, it's like they want to make sure it's going to be successful. So who's like the most successful hero in this universe, and it's Tony Stark's obviously. So.
Yeah. And from the trailers, they made it look like it was going to be half Tony Stark movie.
Yeah, they did. I think they tricked us. And that's why I was worried. They tricked us with the trailer. Good job.
Yeah. He ain't in the movie that much. Like,
no, he's not.
Really ain't. And yes, let's go and get that out the way.
Yeah, Happy's in it more than he is.
Yeah, basically, really. Yeah. And the funny thing about it is, Robert Downey Jr. is still in love with Marissa Tomei.
For real.
He lets you know that Marissa Tomei still got it. And I look, they tried to make her look old. It just
they tried, didn't they?
Yeah, it didn't work. I'm like, look,
technically she is old, but she don't look it. So
she don't look it, man. She look better than some of these 20-year-olds out here, man. I ain't
serious. I'm serious.
Yeah, like they tried to now I will give Marvel Studios credit. They did try to because at one point she's like wearing like these really big glasses, and I'm like, you still fine though.
It's just too fine.
Yeah, so. Like, you still look good. I mean, and they actually make a joke about it in the film with him and her and Peter are out at a restaurant, and dude is just bringing her free food.
Yeah, like slow your roll, man.
Like, bro,
it ain't happening. Just chill out.
Yeah, but I mean that goes back to it's kind of like a little side that she's hot, and that does happen in real life. People need to stop acting like it don't. It does, but it was just funny to see that. And mostly, I will say this about Tony. Tony is more of like an absentee dad in this movie than anything else. Like, he shows up, or the suit shows up.
Right.
He don't. He's out drinking somewhere. The suit shows up.
Cold as cold.
Yeah, which is straight up cold. But
it was funny, but I don't like the fact that they do that.
Yeah,
because it makes him feel less important. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
it's a fun joke. It's funny. I laughed, but I mean, they've done this in a couple of movies, and I kind of wish they didn't because it's just like, well, I'm more than a suit. Yeah, I mean, you're a billionaire who has a lot of resources, which allowed you to make that suit. So Iron Man isn't just the suit, but a big part of him is the suit. So it's just like, if you just turn the suit into a robot that can do stuff without you, it kind of takes a little bit away from Iron Man for me.
It does. They actually, and it's a good thing they actually brought that up. Like, Peter brings that up in the movie during one of the bigger scenes that's actually in the trailer. He brings that up, but it's one of those situations where I think like the very first time they did it, it was played strictly for laughs.
Yeah.
The second time they did it, it was more to show you that yes, Robert Downey Jr. is still an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
He learned nothing from Civil War.
Learned nothing.
He learned absolutely nothing from Civil War. You're like, dude, really?
Which is fine by me.
Like, bro, you really didn't know the damn
learned
thing.
A little something, but I'm glad he's still himself and not just
moping.
Yeah, moping around and whatnot. Yeah.
So it was those things. Now I do want to take a little time to talk about our good buddy Michael Keaton, aka one of the best Batmans ever.
Mm-hmm.
His turn as Toomes, the Vulture. Dude, I know people like to say like Marvel doesn't have good villains. He was good.
You liked him?
I liked him. He brought like a kind of it was a menace to him, but it wasn't too overbearing. I actually liked it.
Yeah.
Because of how Michael Keaton played. Then again, you have to give props to Michael Keaton for that. Because I kind of figured there was a point in it where you like, oh, this could have been, if this was another actor, this wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
But because it was him, it worked. There are a couple scenes where because he's like the everyman, he has his job, he's working cleanup. His crew is working cleanup during the whole Avengers 1 situation where Midtown gets jacked up by the Chitauri. And Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark basically comes in, buys the government, uses his contacts in the government to basically screw all those guys out of a job.
Yeah. See, okay, you said you like the setup, and we both like the setup for Peter, for Spider-Man, and I also like the setup for Vulture, but he didn't do it for me. I don't know. Something was not. Maybe it was too quick for him to be in the suit. It seemed too convenient with his somewhat out of nowhere genius friend.
Oh, you talking about the Tinkerer?
Yeah, like I don't really know that much about Vulture character. I'll tell you that right off the bat. So maybe I'm just missing something that if you would know better as a comic book fan.
They changed it.
Okay, they changed it. Well, I'm guessing they did, but I love that setup. I love the fact that they were blue collar guys. I mean, I said this is going to be great when I was watching it, and they were blue collar guys, and they get screwed over, and they basically start doing black market stuff with the basically those alien parts from the first Avengers movie and turn them into weapons. Like I like that setup. I just needed more from this blue collar dude who was just collecting junk basically to being able to fly around in a Vulture suit. Like that transition did not work for me. Okay. And I like Keaton. Like he's I just think he wasn't given the right kind of character development. You know what I'm saying? Like,
do you think he wasn't too quick enough time?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was time. I think time was the problem. I would have liked to have seen that suit come together, maybe, and him messing around in it and just falling, and so I could believe the fact. Okay. Yeah, something like that. So I could believe the fact that he would be able to handle that thing.
Okay.
I mean, he's not a young guy. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
no.
Like, it takes some what do you call it? Some
Trial and error.
yeah, it takes some viralness.
Yeah.
You would think to be able to strap that thing on. I mean, first of all, you know, if you think about it, the weight of those wings are on you. Like, he's
Yeah.
not in a robot suit, right? It's basically like the chest part.
It's a chest part, but it has like the hover pieces of the
Yeah, so you know, maybe if they would have extended it down to his legs, where the weight wasn't on him,
mhm.
it just didn't seem quite there for me. It didn't seem developed enough.
Man.
I didn't hate it or anything, but it just didn't hit home enough for me.
Come on, man. You gotta love Bokeem Woodbine as a Shocker, dude.
Dude, I love Bokeem Woodbine as anything. I put that dude in everything. He just has presence, you know?
Which I'm glad he re-upped his contract.
Yes.
So he is coming back.
Yeah, I did like him as Shocker. Just when he was getting competent as Shocker, he got knocked down.
Yeah.
He got knocked down a peg, but that was all right. That was fine. But yeah, I did like him as Shocker. But the Vulture wasn't quite developed enough for me. The actor was fine. Like I said, I just needed more, some trial and error stuff, because it just was like, all right, he found this stuff, and then they cut away, and they come back, and he's in a Vulture suit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that is right, because they kind of do like this little like flash forward, type deal,
right?
But you don't get to see how they learn how to use that stuff.
Exactly,
you just don't.
Yeah, I mean that you needed that scene. Like in Ghostbusters, where they're trying to put the stuff together and it's just not working. And they're blasting holes in walls, stuff like that. You needed that, you know, couple of scenes, and that's, you know, it wouldn't have took much. You know, I'm talking like
a montage,
5 to 10 minutes of footage, you know, of them. Yeah, it wouldn't have taken much, and I would have liked to have seen them maybe in a different heist. I mean, I guess no, I'm probably nitpicking there, but that because the heist stuff was fine. But yeah, I needed a little bit more development for them using his weapons and that suit. So.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that, because now that I think about it, you are right. Because how they do it is basically you see the blue collar guy, because they're all on the same.
Yeah, I mean, you're going from blue collar guys to like high,
you know,
using high tech, you know, alien weaponry, you know, and then in their next scene, you know, it's just like. And I know they have been doing it for what?
It's a jump forward. It is a flash forward.
It was a year. How many years was it? Was it even years?
3 or 4 years, because they try to do it like real time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Of course, it was like 4 years. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So the time was fine, but you needed to see them develop a little bit. Like,
yeah, we did. You don't get to see that. I will say this: I like the diversity of the cast. However, there is one thing that I did not like that they did with the cast that happened toward the end of the movie that really pissed me off. But I'll save that for a little bit. But the casting as a whole, I liked the high school. I mean, I liked how they did. I liked, at first I wasn't cool with how they changed Flash, but then I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? It ain't the same as it was when me and you were in high school. So
I get that. Yeah, maybe that's a disconnect. I had the same disconnect. I'm like, well, you can't. I understand not using some big bulky dude or whatever,
because
that's kind of on the nose.
And then on top of that, the school they was going to wasn't really a jock school. It was like it was a vocational school kind of.
But the problem for me was putting Flash on the team, the debate
team.
Yeah, he should not have been on that squad. No. Like, because that took everything away from him. You know, as being like this kind of basically bully. You know, he could have just been some rich, you know, snob or whatever. That would have been fine. He didn't have to be like some jock. But they made him part of that. That didn't work for me at all.
Yeah, but they did make him the dumbest one, so that kind of
that is true. They did make him the dumbest one, but he shouldn't have been. He was too dumb to be on that team. You know what I'm saying? He's not the type of guy who would care enough to even be on a team like that. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like, so that didn't work for me at all.
in that way they tried to like try to tie it back to the original character. I'm like, you can't really do that because I mean, like the original character,
you have to just change him completely. Then don't at that point, don't make him,
don't try to tie it back.
Right.
Yeah, just let's not do that. But I mean, other than that, I like the fact that they had Liz in there. Because a lot of people don't know this, but like he doesn't meet Mary Jane in the comics till college.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he meets Gwen, Liz, Betty, all of them like in high school. So I like the fact that they went with Liz first. Like he had a crush on Liz first. I'm like, thank you, because finally somebody done read something.
Yeah.
So they didn't automatically jump to Mary Jane, or they didn't automatically jump to Gwen, you know.
Speaking of that, though, is that the thing you were trying to say for the end?
The Mary Jane thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll save that then. We'll come back.
Yeah.
That was another gripe. I'm with you on that, I think.
I was so embarrassed when Marvel did that.
Yeah. But we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess we'll stay on kind of disappointments.
Yeah, kind of disappointments, yeah. Because it's not like very disappointing. It's just
no. Like I thought it was you know, I'm with you. I like the school stuff. I love Tom Holland as Peter Parker Spider-Man. Yeah. He's perfect. And you didn't get to see that really. You got a little piece of that in Civil War. Like he was Spider-Man for sure, but you wanted to see him as Peter Parker. And what's the last guy's name? The last
Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield was too good.
He wasn't no nerd,
cool looking, you know, to be this nerdy kid.
That one was a model.
You know, like it just didn't work. He was a Carl Canai, not Carl Canai. He was
Calvin Klein.
Yeah, it was a Calvin Klein model, man. Like he didn't work as Peter Parker at all for me. He was a good Spider-Man sometimes, but Peter Parker he was not. So Tom Holland is definitely, to me, I'm not as versed in this comic as you are, but to me he feels like the best Peter Parker we've had.
He is, and screen. He feels age appropriate,
and he's age appropriate, obviously. Well, yeah. So, I mean, he looks younger than he actually is. I think he's like 20, right? He's like,
I think he just turned 20. So
he just turned 20. But he does look like he's like 15.
Yeah, so he looks like he can still be in high school.
Right, he totally he can still be a high schooler. So it fits. And I always felt like when I heard the casting of that, he would be good anyway, because I've seen him in other stuff, some indie stuff, and I was like, yeah, he would probably fit pretty well. So he was a total win. Tom Holland was a total win. I guess my other gripes would be the set pieces didn't really do it for me. The action.
Oh God,
pieces, like
a couple of them were just weird.
Yeah. Which ones do you think were weird? Like you are
when they went on the field trip to DC.
Yeah,
that one was weird. And the Maryland one, the Maryland scene where he was following Vulture in Maryland. That's the other one. I'm like, okay, look,
it was so throwaway.
I'm sorry. I used to live in Atlanta. I know what I-20 looked like. That was not Maryland.
I've been on I-20 a lot. Because we used to go up and down the East Coast every year almost when I was a kid.
That ain't Maryland. That was in Georgia.
Yep. That was clearly Georgia. So it's cheaper to shoot in Georgia. I get it.
Yeah, we understand, but
we get that. You know.
Yeah, look, come on now.
Shooting Georgia from Maryland. That happens a lot.
Work.
They shoot Toronto for New York a lot, and it just makes me laugh. But most people don't recognize it, so it's all good.
But yeah, that one in the whole DC portion that
was kind of convoluted, and
I kind of wish they would have stayed in New York.
Yeah, me too.
Personally,
I think they could have done some better stuff.
Yeah, because I mean, I understand like putting him in like a different place where he can't really use his abilities all that well because there ain't much for him to swing off of.
Right.
But to me, it just felt kind of weird.
Yeah, we didn't really need it, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it set up a good sequence at
you could have done that in New York. You could have done like Central Park.
Yeah, basically.
You know what I'm saying? Like you could have some dudes run through Central Park and you can't keep up with them with the webs because there's nothing to grab onto.
Yeah, but he had to switch it up. Like the Washington Monument, it was a good set piece, but I just didn't buy it.
I didn't buy it. Yeah, it
So-
just it felt too set-y. For lack of a better word, it felt too much like a set.
Yeah, like, you could tell they wasn't there.
Yeah. A lot of you could tell the digital's there and that kind of stuff too. It's just like, this isn't really working for me.
Yeah. Now I will say this though, I did love the ferry scene.
The ferry scene was pretty cool until
Iron Man showed up.
Yeah, like that's when it lost a little bit for me because I wanted to see him do his thing, and
which I thought they were doing.
That was his chance. I felt like, you know, like I am a filmmaker, and you do what's called a scriptment, which is basically like you write the script without dialogue, and so you set it up like there's a three act structure, and this felt like the act, the act in the script where the hero makes his medal, where he, you know, goes out there and like because he's unsure of himself.
Yeah,
for like the first act and a half, and then there's a set piece that happens where he gets confident. He learns who he is, and he's confident in himself. And I thought that was going to be the ferry scene, and they totally snatched that. He snatched it right away. I'm like, oh man!
It's another scene where it's one of those scenes where like the setup, like you think that's where it's going because he is, especially when he starts shooting the web. And this is all in the trailer, so don't even start with that. But he's shooting web, and you're like, oh, he's going to actually do this.
Yeah.
And they just snatch it from him. I'm like,
yeah, and I get what they were doing because, you know, you got to get the scene where he loses his suit and it's like, you're more than a suit, but you still could have had that. You could have had this. Iron Man could have still been mad about what happened with the ferry. You know what I'm saying? Like you didn't have to have him come in and save the situation. It could have been, you know, he does his web thing and the ferry crashes into whatever and people get hurt. And Iron Man could have still been pissed off about that, you know, and people could have been pissed off. Like, people got hurt. This guy isn't quite ready yet, you know, and that would have been fine. You didn't need to like have him come and save the day and not really. Was he there that time? I can't remember.
He was there. That was
him. Okay. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I couldn't even remember if that was him or not.
Because what had happened was Peter was like, if you just would have listened to him, which Peter wasn't wrong.
Yeah, he wasn't wrong.
Peter was not wrong because he kept trying to tell him, but Tony kept blowing him off.
Right.
So
that made it feel even more disjointed. It's like, dude, he was trying to do the right thing here. Those people would have been, well, I guess that would have happened. They would just got the deal or whatever. But you didn't want them to make the deal. So he was doing the right thing.
He was doing the right thing, and Tony wouldn't listen. So
Tony,
he springs into action because he's doing what a hero should do.
Right.
And then Tony shows up and be like, oh, well, you shouldn't have did that. I'm like, but Tony, he tried telling you and you ignored him.
Right.
So most of this is, I'm sorry, Tony, it's on your head.
It's on you, bro. So, just like Ultron, you messing up, bro.
Once again, Tony learned nothing from someone.
That's true. That's true.
So that's when you're thinking, like, you know what? Maybe you should have went with Cap, Spidey, because at least Cap would have listened to you.
And I didn't like the fact, because I didn't feel like Spider-Man at that point, I didn't feel like Peter Parker at that point would have said, I'm nothing without the suit. That felt so much like a script writer writing in, you know, a dilemma and forcing it in. Because I don't think Spider-Man at that point, maybe when you first meet him, he would be like, you give him the suit and you take it away, you know, like right after what happened in Civil War. You know what I'm saying?
Like if we would have took it right after the hotel scene at the first beginning.
Right. Then we can talk about that. Then it works better. But it just seemed like he basically almost saved that ferry. You know, like he did his thing, and it's just like he would have never said that. I don't think he would have said that at that moment. It just felt kind of forced.
Yeah, that felt forced, and on top of that, like he had already
so Tony could say
for like 6 months.
Yeah, it felt like, oh, here's the line, so Tony could say, well, you got to be more than the suit, you know, that's so it felt like he was setting up the damn shot for him.
Yeah, basically.
You know what I'm saying? It just felt too forced. But
yeah, I will say this though, I do like. There's one other thing that I did like about it, as far as like how they actually set up, and that was the actual when he actually realized that, you know what, maybe because he comes to the realization that maybe Tony ain't the best mentor in the world. When it finally sets in, he's like, you know what, fine, you know, I don't have a suit. I'll just go back to doing
what I was doing before the suit.
Yeah, what I was doing before the suit. And I actually like that, the fact that like he goes and he talks to Aunt May, and he basically says that he lost the internship, which he really didn't lose. And they decide to, like, she starts telling him about the dance, and he actually goes. I like that, because it was like, okay, he's like basically like, you know what, screw this I can't be a hero. So
yeah, that stuff was good. Like that, you know, a lot of the school stuff, him just being a kid, that stuff worked really well. The only time I felt like it hindered the plot or the pacing was what we talked about earlier, which was in Maryland, or quote unquote Maryland.
Yeah.
That was the only time I felt like, because I actually wanted more of the what was the debate scene or whatever.
Yeah, the debate.
It was just so quick, and it was like it was all this setup for that debate, and you didn't really even get it.
No, you got like two minutes of it.
They answered like 3 questions, and it was over. Come on. You can't set that up and then not even deliver on that. So
yeah, not at all.
Yeah, this movie had some pacing and plotting issues. Nothing major, but just enough to bother you a little bit, you know?
Yeah, because it wasn't like pacing issues where like you could visibly tell it's dragging. It was pacing issues where you're like, why did they do that?
Yeah, or why didn't they do that? You know, that kind of thing.
Like, okay, that was odd. That's an odd choice.
Yeah,
whatever. I did like that his suit had Jennifer Connelly as the voice in his suit. If you don't know, Jennifer Connelly and Paul Bettany are married. Yeah, Paul Bettany is the Vision. Jennifer Connelly.
I married her first. So he took my Jennifer Connelly. That was pretty cool. Yeah. But I mean, I guess I think because T Juice, shout out to Terminator Juice, he saw the movie before I did, and you know, he was just kind of talking about it. I was like, you know, don't give any spoilers, and I didn't think that was a spoiler. The fact that Jennifer Connelly was in a suit, the voice or whatever. I wasn't in love with that idea that he had an Iron Man, like, you know, he had a Jarvis voice in his suit. Yeah. Like, it technically it makes sense because you would think Tony Stark would have something like that for him. So it made sense technically. I just wasn't in love with the idea, you know? It just because it robbed him of him
thinking on his own
and doing, you know, what he felt was right, and learning and progressing from that. He was without doing that, he could just ask a computer, "Hey, do this for me," basically, you know. And
I was feeling the same way, and then I thought about it. I'm like, wait a minute,
but it made sense. No, like I said, it totally made sense that
he would put a voice in.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that Stark put that in there for him. It made sense. It just didn't work for me, you know. It's for some reason it just didn't completely work for me because I felt like it robbed Tony Peter some growth.
Yeah, because if they would have said it where Peter had made that suit on his own, I would have been 100% like, no, why is the AI in there?
Yeah,
you know.
And again, like I said, I was talking about Terminator. You was talking about that. It kind of tainted it for me because I was going in expecting and looking for that. Now, that's what happens sometimes when you watch a reviews. Like, they said something about the first half hour of the movie is kind of disjointed. So you're going in with your arms folded, thinking about that, you know?
Yeah.
So that probably had something to do with it too. So I'm not going to put it all on that idea. It could have just been that I had knowledge that I probably shouldn't have had going into the movie. So I was thinking about that.
Yeah, once again, I can understand it. I really can understand it.
It makes sense. If you think about it, it makes sense that Tony would do that.
Yeah,
in that suit.
But they did one thing that the Sony Spider-Man movies never really did. They actually showed you how smart and resourceful he really is, because he gets the suit taken away from him, and the climactic sequence of the movie, which is a very scary scene if you have ever taken a girl out on a date and her dad's in the car.
Yeah, that was. It took me back. I was like, oh, I've been there. That hit too close to home, I think.
Yeah, I would have been like, girl, look, we ain't even dancing. You get on that side of the dance floor, I'm on this side.
I started thinking about that kid coming to pick up Martin Lawrence's and Bad Boys.
That was done for laughs. That was done for laughs. Spider-Man Homecoming turned into a horror movie.
The kid was scared, though. He was shook.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about how, shook he would have been in that situation.
But the way because the tone kind of shifts a little bit when it goes from because that's when he finally realizes he's Vulture.
Yeah.
But that just turns from it
gets creepy,
happy-go-lucky to straight up horror movie.
Yeah. It was scary.
I'm like, God dang! I'm like, Peter, you gonna die?
Yeah. Are you gonna make it out this car?
Yeah. But it does that, and it shows that basically, okay, you know what? Because that's when he realizes that I gotta stop him.
Yeah.
So he lifts up an entire section of lockers to get his own suit up. And I'm like, you know what? I actually like this because, in Amazing Spider-Man, they never showed that.
Right.
Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, they hinted at it.
Yeah.
But they never really showed that.
Yeah.
This one actually showed it.
Right. I like the fact that Vulture wasn't stupid. He figured it out like that.
He gonna come
basically from her. I was getting mad at her because I'm like, shut up. Yeah. She was telling them all the business of what happened in Maryland. It's like, shut your mouth.
Like, girl, shut the hell up.
Yeah. So I like the fact that happened that way because it worked.
Yeah.
It totally worked for me. And
a
stupid villain, he figured it out.
Yeah, he wasn't. That's why I kind of like Michael Keaton as the villain of this.
Oh, I liked him as a villain.
It was just different.
Yeah,
from
what it was very different. It was definitely the most different villain you've had in a Marvel movie for sure.
And
he worked.
Another thing that I'm glad they did, and they did not kill him.
They didn't kill him. Yes.
Thank you.
That I was actually like, they better not kill him.
Yeah.
Once you knew he was the dad, I was like, you can't kill this kid. You can't kill this guy now. You can't do it.
No, not now. And the one other thing about the movie that I actually enjoyed, Peter goes out his way to try to save him.
He does. To his own detriment,
Yeah, because he was getting jacked up.
Yeah.
And he went out of his way to save him, which was that made for an awesome sequence. And I think that climactic fight scene, the way they shot it, actually to me made up for some of that BS at the beginning.
Yeah,
earlier in the movie. So
it was a good ending fight scene for sure.
Because it just was different than what they've ever done, and they also Marvel knows how to get my buttons, man. They also set up Sinister Six.
Mm-hmm.
They set it up because they showed the guy who's going to become Scorpion. You got Shocker, you got Vulture, you got half of them in this movie.
Yep.
Which means we just got to get the other half. So, much shout out.
It was a good setup. Yeah, something that Sony could never do.
No, because
Sony totally
show you all these suits.
Yeah, it was like, really. It was like the DC superheroes in the computer file. Yeah. It was like, really, y'all gonna do that? That's how y'all do it? All right.
With their logos and their name already.
Yeah, like what? Seriously? That looked like that. I was like, oh, that's an executive move right there. That was it was not a creative decision.
So Lex, you went and got somebody in your graphic design department to pick up logos for each one.
Man.
Okay, dude.
You didn't have to do that. That's the thing that was so unnerving about this. Just like, you didn't have to. Like, you could have just had, Wonder Woman as a file name. You could have had Black Boy or something, Lightning Boy.
Yeah,
like we know who they are. Like,
yeah, that's all you needed.
The audience knows who they are. You don't have to put a damn logo on them. Yeah. Like, come on, man.
Oh man, that was too funny when they did
Look ass logo. I'm like, what the hell are they doing? That was just bad. That was just. But just put some file folders up and have
Yeah.
Underscore Aqua Guy or you know Fish Boy or something. You know, like
or
we know who
Big
you're
Ass
talking
Samoan,
about.
you know.
Yeah, like we know who you're talking about.
Or Khal Drogo.
Khal Drogo with a trident.
Yeah. But I will say this. Barring the issues that they had, I thought they did a excellent job of bringing Spider-Man back without having to do the Uncle Ben death thing.
Right. They went right after that. They started it after that, which is fine because that was one of the best things for me in the Raimi movies is how they handled Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
In the storyline and the actor. I loved him. Yeah. I don't know what they were thinking about Amazing Spider-Man, but yeah. Going over that same, really? Y'all gonna do that again?
Yeah. When we just seen it.
That was a bad choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just saw it wasn't that long ago. Thank you.
Thank you, Marvel, for doing that.
Yeah, thank you for doing that. I mean, I would like a flashback at some point.
Yeah, but we didn't need it for this one.
We didn't need it for this movie. No, not at all. Not at all.
So now here's the thing before we get out of here. I gotta bring this up because one, I like Zendaya. I think she's a good actress. I like her chemistry with Tom Holland. I thought they did great on camera together. Here's my problem, Marvel, and y'all know better. Y'all know better. Why are you gonna sit up there and call this girl MJ? Y'all,
bruh, you know what it reminded me of, which is not a good memory?
What?
Is Robin at the end of Dark Knight?
Oh God, yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, really?
I'm like,
did we need to do that? No, we didn't need to do that.
No, I mean, look, because people already now, you know what they're saying? Oh, she's Mary Jane.
Yeah, Black Mary Jane.
I'm like, oh my goodness.
And I'm like, wait a minute, because I was hearing Black Mary Jane, I wasn't really paying attention, so they thought your girl, what's his name, was Mary Jane.
Liz.
Liz. Yeah, I thought. Yeah. But no, they were talking about her the whole time. I was like, oh.
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, out of all the women in Peter Parker's
she's already black, she's militant.
Yeah. And I'm like, out of all the women in Peter Parker's life, y'all just had to bring in MJ in some kind of way. I'm like, you didn't have to do that this movie.
No, you didn't have to do it this movie, and it shouldn't be her. I'm sorry. Like, it should not be her.
And the way the way her character was going the entire movie, you're like, dude, that ain't Mary Jane.
She's not Mary Jane at all. Yeah, not only in looks, which is the most obvious thing, but in character. That's
in character, period.
At all.
I'm like, y'all would have came out better just letting her be somebody else.
Right. Letting her.
You could have had her as a brand new character. We wouldn't have got mad.
Yeah, she could have just been a new character. Yeah. You can do anything you want.
We like the actress. It's just like, okay, because like the way he was going the whole movie, I'm like, I was trying to figure out who they were gonna make it be, but I'm like, okay, she's actually fun because the way she was doing, I thought she was a mutant because she kept teleporting everywhere they was at. Every time something happened, you just see her.
That is true. She was kind of
you like,
she's gonna be some, she gonna be some other, which would have been way better than her making her Mary Jane.
But they set up and said, they finally said her name, and then at the end, she said, "My friends call me MJ." I'm like, oh God, no.
No, they don't. No.
And then they went to credits. I'm like, they did it and went straight to credits. I'm like,
it's like, we gotta get out of here. Hurry up. Get out of here. Before they riot.
Hey, let's leave before they figure it out.
I'm like you gotta be sitting in, previews when you're previewing a movie with the director and the editor are sitting there, and you gotta be like, this shit ain't working, man. This is not gonna work. And that didn't work.
Why I get the feeling that scene was like earlier in the movie and they just moved it to the end?
No, you might be right about that. It might have been an earlier scene. They thought they were so clever. Let's put it at the end and be a shocker.
Yeah, because I'm sorry, man. I got a feeling that scene was like earlier in the movie and they moved it to the end because they probably did it with a test audience, and that test audience was like, we will destroy y'all.
Yeah, like, I'm sure the test audience was like, whoa, what's this?
Because remember, like, I don't know if you noticed, but I remember like back in like May, they were saying that Mary Jane was in the movie after they viewed that test audience.
Yeah.
and people like, no, that's not true. I'm like, okay, like that's weird. Why would they put Mary Jane in him when he's in high school? I'm like, he didn't meet Mary Jane till college, so why would they put her in there? And apparently they did.
Right, and she's like some loner,
like, militant, teleporting,
too smart, too clever. For school, which like, I loved her character. I thought she was a good character.
Yeah,
she could have been their side friend.
Yeah,
could have went on. You could have even, like, dare I say, killed her at some point. It could have been some big, thing that Peter goes through.
Emotional.
Yeah, a big emotional moment. Like, don't make her Mary Jane. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, but that right there, I was just in the theater because I was in disbelief.
Yeah,
that they actually did that. I was in the theater, forgot they had post-credit screens. I was just in the theater like, did they really just do this?
Mary Jane is the fair-skinned red-haired girl. Leave her alone.
Yeah, because that's her signature. Her signature
that's just
thing is her red hair.
Her red hair. That's the signature thing. It's like taking a certain female assassin and making her blonde.
With blonde eyebrows.
When you know she has red hair. That's a signature thing for her. Why do that?
And then on top of that, knowing that you have another character in the same universe that's had the same name with blonde hair.
Right. What are you doing?
But
that was just a bad move all around.
Yeah, all around that. That's like one of those moves where you're like, really, Marvel? Y'all doing that now?
She said her name was MJ, right? Not Mary Jane.
She said it was MJ, but the problem is
you can't like go back on that now.
Yeah, you can't go back on it.
I'm like, be like, oh, my name's Melissa, Jameson.
Yeah, you can't.
It's J. Jonah Jameson's daughter or niece or something. Like,
you can't do that. That's the problem, because I know what people are gonna say is, well,
they got scared and got pushed away from doing it.
They left that in there for a reason.
Yeah,
and like I said, I love the character because before she was perfect. She was like a perfect little comedic timing foil.
Because they very much talked about how they wanted to make this like a I was going to say John Williams. What's the guy from the 80s movie? John Hughes. God dang it! They wanted to make this a John Hughes type movie, and they mostly succeeded. Yeah. And she is the friend, the nerdy friend character who the main character should be with from the beginning, who they just don't notice, because they're so infatuated with the pretty girl or the pretty guy or whatever. Yeah. And she played that character perfect. You don't make her into the main love interest. You don't do that,
because
and on top of that, as a side character, she was good at her role.
Yeah, and on top of that, just knowing what the character of Mary Jane means to the Marvel universe, you ain't really just. That's like making Lois Lane. Like
making Lois Lane a redhead. Oh wait,
yeah, they're making her Asian or something. Like, no, that's not gonna work.
Made her a redhead. I forgot about that. Oh.
Yeah, I'm like, it's not gonna work. You kind of have this certain. Don't get me wrong. I love diversity. I love it, but sometimes.
But here's the thing: they already had diversity.
Yeah,
they had enough diversity in the movie. They had them with the
they didn't have to do it. They didn't have to go that far.
Right. It's like now you think Peter just got a penchant for some brown sugar, like and Peter Parker just like the sisters now.
Yeah.
I won't blame him for that, but it just doesn't seem right.
When he had some since he can't get coffee, he has some hot chocolate.
I mean, you had diversity. You had Vulture, and obviously he had a black wife, and
I mean, like I said,
Liz was mixed like that. What was good? That was that was enough diversity. This just seemed forced.
In the whole school,
and we're saying this as black guys.
Yeah,
like if we have a problem with it,
because at this point it's like, look. I like diversity, but I still need to see, like, if there's somebody in the, especially in like comics, that has, you need to keep them. Yeah. Certain characters need to stay who they are. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, or maybe they were just afraid. Oh, yeah, of course. Maybe this is me thinking maybe too much. Maybe they were just afraid. It's like, oh, of course, the black girl's dad. And her character has to go away basically because her dad was a criminal. even,
Yeah.
even when the black girl's character, even when the black girl's dad is white,
Yeah.
he's bad. He has to go.
Which,
So, and they were like, "Oh, they're gonna bring in the white girl now, who's all wholesome and good." So
yeah.
maybe
Maybe we should do that.
This is me reaching. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's funny to reach like this, but maybe there's like, "Oh, we don't want to bring in the white girl and make it seem like, oh, the white girl is the good." Obviously Mary Jane is his main love interest.
Yeah.
And let's get rid of the black girl and bring in the white girl. Yeah, maybe maybe they were thinking too much about that kind of silly stuff.
I mean,
it's possible. It's probably not.
It is possible because we never know how these.
It's funny to think that though.
But my thing was, I'm like, okay. My thing was, why even put Mary Jane in here if you're gonna do anything?
But that's what I was gonna say. If you were worried about that, don't even put Mary Jane in this movie.
Yeah, just
nobody would care.
Felicia Hardy or
forget about Liz by the next movie.
Yeah, bring in Felicia Hardy or Gwen Stacy.
Right.
You could have
exactly
easily brought in one of them.
Exactly.
But Mary Jane, I'm sorry, it's just like you. Certain characters just need to. They're iconic for a reason. I'm gonna say it like this. I love Luke Cage. I like Black Panther. I don't want to see them as somebody else.
You know what? You just said Gwen Stacy. She would have worked better as Gwen Stacy.
Probably more than likely, yeah.
You know I mean,
because she's smart.
Right, exactly.
And there's a little bit of a
but it would still be off.
It would still be off, but
it wouldn't be as off as Mary Jane. That's way off.
Way off. Yeah, because like I said, like we said, one of the defining characteristics of Mary Jane Watson is her red hair.
Yeah, she's not a nerd. Like she's not like
she's more of
an artsy girl. She's more of an actress.
Like people like she's the life of the party.
Right.
Like she ain't.
That's not who this girl is. Not Zendaya. That's not.
Yeah, she's not militant.
No, that is a militant black chick. No, that's
nah. She's not even that much of a smart aleck either.
No. Like I said, this girl was way too clever, way too cool to be. I mean, I liked her when they showed that little piece in the trailer.
Yeah,
when she just had that one line, and I was like, I like this girl.
Yeah, I'm like, this is actually cool.
Yeah,
I'm like, I wonder who she is.
Right.
Then we found out.
Then we like, I wish I didn't know.
like I said, I like the diversity. I like the casting of it. I like I said, I love her character. I just don't I'm sorry, just like certain characteristics on certain characters, I think they should keep the same. That's just me. I mean, I applaud them for adding us in. Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. I applaud them for that.
It was ballsy. It was definitely ballsy.
But sometimes, I mean,
sometimes I don't know how to say for your own good.
Yeah, I don't know how to say it to make it seem like
it's too progressive.
Probably have a problem with what I said, and I apologize if you get offended off the rip. But I'm just saying, like, as a comic book fan, there's certain stuff that I think should stay true to character.
I think if anybody can say this safely, it's us, because we're black. You know what I'm saying? Like, if anybody can say safely that she should not be Mary Jane, it's us.
And I'm sorry. I look, if you want them people like, well, she just said it was MJ. You know what they meant.
Yeah.
That's not up for debate. You know what?
You learn about diversity. There is a movie coming out in February where 90% of the people in the movie is black. So you don't have to worry about trying to prove your diversity.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell y'all now. There's gonna be some black foolishness at every theater.
By the time they got us up in one of these,
yeah. So I'm gonna tell you now, if you go to the theater opening weekend, be prepared for black foolishness.
Yeah. And Black Panther is a great superhero. Like he's not some side, nobody dude. You already got a good taste of him. You see how cool his brother is. So. And you see why Wesley Snipes were trying so hard to get this character back in the day. Yeah, because he's just badass.
And this is gonna be one of the situations where you're gonna see a lot of black women beating the hell out of people because he rolled deep.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait for that kind of stuff.
And they all women.
and they ain't no joke.
Yeah, they don't play. So,
like when you saw your girl in what was it Civil War?
Yeah, Civil War.
Outside the, you know,
When,
the when he
was
what's her name? Yeah, like I was like, yo, you better bow out. This is
I was
one
like,
chick you can't handle.
I was like, Natasha, please move because I like
Yeah,
you as
you
a
might want to
character.
chill out,
Please move.
Natasha. You good and all that, but you ain't ready for
Yeah,
what they offering yet.
That was taken straight from the comic. What y'all didn't see was what happened on the next page.
Right.
Where Widow got her ass
Because it went down, and Widow got more than she can handle. So
yeah. So, but overall, this is a good movie. It's a great movie. It's not that long. It's only like 2 hours 10 minutes, I think.
Mm-hmm. It felt pretty quick. It was paced pretty well, I thought.
It's paced pretty well outside of those weird stuff that we talked about. Yeah. And really, you're probably not gonna notice it.
Yeah, maybe because we're older, like we notice some of that stuff. Maybe you won't notice it if you're a younger person.
And some of that stuff they do a good job of hiding with the comedy.
Mm-hmm.
They do a real good job of hiding it by making you laugh. So it works, and I think it's one of those movies, like I said, right alongside Wonder Woman. It's a great gift movie if you want to get somebody. Get it for somebody. And I'll tell you like this right here. Hands down, Tom Holland is probably the best Spider-Man we done had so far.
Yeah, he's the best. Like I really don't get it twisted. I really like Tobey Maguire. Yeah. He was a little too old, but I really liked him as Peter Parker, especially. Maybe not so much Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tom Holland is the best, I think.
Yeah, because he pulls off both Peter and Spidey. He
pulls off Peter and Spidey really well. So he's definitely the best.
And just one more thing before we go. Damn, Marissa Tomei's still fine.
She is fine, bro. Marvel, I see what y'all doing, getting these fine older women in y'all movies. I know what y'all doing. Yeah, we got our girl Angela coming up next. We know what y'all doing. We know what y'all doing.
Marissa, got Kate Blanchett. Yeah.
I forgot about Kate. It's Cougar Town up in here.
Like, what y'all doing, man?
We know what y'all doing, man.
But that being said, great movie. One of my favorites of 2017.
Why you had to bring up Kate Blanchett? Now she's in my head right now. God dang.
That Bow to Your Queen trailer, and I shouldn't have did that. But one of my favorite movies of 2017. Looking forward to Panther in February and Infinity War in May and Deadpool in June, because I'm pretty sure Ryan Reynolds is going to throw in a Thanos joke.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm going to be waiting for that, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be a joke about being purple and having a messed up chin.
You already proved that he's fearless. It's happening. Yeah. So.
I mean, hell, he stole the helicarrier from the first one and put it in Deadpool.
Dude joked about his own other superhero movie and his new superhero movie. So he's fearless.
All the while going off on WB's management.
Right. Fearlessly. And Fox. He went off on Fox too.
Yeah, he went off.
He pulled your boy at the Game Awards.
Yep. He went off in the movie twice.
In the movie. Like, wow.
Not once, but twice.
Yeah, and they can't do nothing. They can't touch him because it was such a huge success, and I love it. I love it.
And now he's about to be Disney's problem.
Seriously.
And from the way Disney acting, they want it.
Yeah, they want it though. Yeah,
they want him. They want him to stay just the same. That's just too funny though. But hope you guys enjoyed it. We got one more vid that we want to do before the end of the year. That's to give us our best of, worst of 2017 and what we look forward to 2018.
That should be fun.
Yeah, that's gonna be oh boy. But we'll see you guys then. T, you got any final thoughts?
No, rather enjoyed Homecoming. Like I said, we had a couple of issues with it, but nothing that completely detracted us out of the movie. So definitely a watch, a viewing. If you haven't seen it yet, make sure you pick it up. It's a good little movie. And it's funny because I say good little movie. It's a very expensive, big budget movie, but it felt like a small movie. That's what that was another thing.
Feel to it.
That was good. Yeah, it felt like an indie movie in a lot of cases. So that was cool.
Oh, and before I go, let me just say this: your kids can't watch this. I had a friend of mine ask me because they want to let their kids start watching superhero movies. This is one of them that they can watch. This one and Wonder Woman they can watch. You know,
the violence wasn't like anything crazy.
Yeah, it wasn't any gore or anything like that. It's mostly just fist fights. So, you know, nobody died.
Yeah, nobody died.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about that. I mean, out of the Marvel stuff,
the first Shocker died.
Yeah, well, yeah, but you don't see nothing.
Spoiler alert! Yeah, nobody cares.
Yeah, spoiler alert. But other than that, you don't really see nothing.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of good little.
And even that was pretty cartoony. It wasn't like, oh gosh.
Yeah, it was straight up cartoony because it was a completely accident, which was hilarious.
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna laugh at that. You're probably gonna be too busy laughing.
Yeah, you're not even gonna like. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It was played for laughs.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm probably gonna start adding that to my reviews, like if kids can watch it, because some people have been asking me about that. So yes, children shouldn't even have a problem with letting kids watch this.
No,
it ain't nothing bad.
Good movie for the whole family.
Yeah. So until next time, peeps. Peace.